Hello. I have the setup kind of figured out. It's still echoey as hell in here, so until I get that sorted, I apologize. I need to buy a rug. Rugs are kind of expensive. There's art on the walls. There's stuff here. There should be things absorbing the sound. They're not yet. However, the show must go on and I need to film videos. I haven't been as active just the last couple of weeks really because of moving and just being really busy with the move and not really having this space set up. And so when you don't have a space set up for like creativity, it's hard to be creative, but we're coming back. It's the energy, the creative energy is brewing. We're on the precipice. If this feels like a streamer setup, it's kind of because it is. So if you haven't joined me over on Twitch, my link is down below. I've been doing a lot of reading sprints over there, which has been really fun. I know a lot of you have joined me. So if you want to see not only my gaming content, which has been a little bit on the back burner over there, but is coming back, as well as more consistent read with me's and stuff with this really lovely background, check me out on Twitch. But the point of this video, April, what did I do? What did I read? Funny you should ask. I finished 2 books and got halfway through a third. So my tome topple did not go particularly well. I should have known that with the moving situation happening, but I was like, oh, I have most of the furniture I need with my current place. There's a moving vlog coming up. You guys will see that on my other channel. That's linked down below as well. With all of this stuff and getting this place semi-settled. But because of that, I only read 2 books. So let's make this short and sweet. The first thing I finished was The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the 3rd and final book in the David Bod trilogy, and this was amazing. It was kind of nice to spend more time on this. I think it took me like 20 days to read this because I started it in March before I moved, and then was reading it like during and after the move. So I had a lot of time with this book, but I also felt like I didn't quite get to sink into it in the way that I would have if I would have had more time. But ultimately, still really loved this. I have, or it might already be posted, a review for this coming up. This did everything that I want in a conclusion. It had additional world building elements, which you don't always see in a 3rd book. Sometimes like the author is just kind of done with expanding on the world. This continued to expand on the world. The characters and their arcs continue to be perfection. The way that everybody like interacts, the just different feuding peoples, the plot just chugs along at a nice little pace, and the wrap up of this and the conclusion, there's satisfying bits, there's bittersweet bits. It all feels like it makes sense and is earned. There's like sacrifice, but not too much that it feels like morbid. It just works. And this is one of the only series that I actually do want to read the short story collection that just came out. Typically speaking, I'm not a short story person. I'm like, whatever you put in the short stories, you can leave it. I don't need it. I'm fine for this. I'm like, no, there's a lot in this world that can still be expanded upon, and I would gladly return to this world in any fashion. So this was amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. If you haven't read this series, you should. And the second book that I finished was actually a reread. This was during Tome Topple. I do have a Tome Topple vlog that's gonna be either posted or coming up. I don't know when I'm posting all of these. But the book that I finished for Tome Topple was the reread of The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This, I'm so glad that I reread this. I was on the fence, even though I've been talking a lot lately about how if I'm continuing on with a series, especially a fantasy series, I need to reread the previous books. I read this originally in 2020, and so like, it had been a little bit foggy. I remembered some points, but I wouldn't have probably known enough to go into the next book and like really know what was going on. So very glad I reread this. It just reminded me of how good it is. Like the writing is so good, and it just like a lot of time passes in this, and you can feel the passage of time without there being any like monotonous parts. It is just everything. I have a full review for it from when I first read this, which everything still applies. But I continue to love these characters. I can't wait to see how this series goes. I do plan on continuing this series and finishing this series this year, probably within the next couple of months over the summer. And yeah, you can check out my review for like a full list of trigger warnings. I'm sure most of you know about this book by now, but it was good to reread this. I had a good time with it even though I was feeling slumpy, so that's why I knew it wasn't reading that was making me slumpy. It was just like external events, stress, all of that. And I do briefly want to touch on the book that I'm currently reading, which is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is our House Salt Book Club pick, so right around the time that this is getting posted, we will be having a live show coming up for that on my channel talking about it. And I have not been loving this. I'm about a little over halfway through it right now, and I think If I wasn't reading it for book club, I probably would have DNF'd it, which is very surprising because I love The Priory of the Orange Tree. I know they're completely different series. Well, I mean, The Priory of the Orange Tree used to be a standalone. Now there's going to be a prequel coming out, whatever. I know they're completely different worlds, whatever, but the Bone Season feels so dated right now. So that has not been the most fun of reading experiences. But I will give you a little sneak peek of my plans because, as you guys know, around this time last year was when my reading slump sort of hit me, just around like March, April, and I will not let it get me in its clutches again, okay? So I'm going to be in May reading, rereading a lot of old favorites because I have had a good time rereading some old favorites with the Poppy War, and then a few months ago I reread the City of Brass, and that like really reinvigorated my reading. So I think I'm gonna do that. There's a number of books that I haven't read in years that I'm going to go back and reread. I'm also gonna have one of those being chosen by my Patreon supporters so that I know that I'll at least get to some of them because, again, schedule and stuff, I have a lot going on in May. I'm hoping to have more time to read than I have, and I'm trying to like zone back in on my self-care and just like stuff. I've been getting in some dissociative TikTok scrolls, and I need to not. I've also been spending a lot of time like doing social stuff, so like that's all well and good, but I need to like zone back in on my self-care things, and reading is part of my self-care. So I'm hoping that I get some good books next month with some of these rereads. There's going to be also a few new picks as well in there that I want to get to, but yeah, I'm hoping May is a good reading month. But that being said, comment down below, let me know how your April went. I know a lot of people right now are in reading slumps, so I know these books, because since one was a reread, it's like not much to talk to me about there, but let me know how your reading month went, if you're also in a slump, what you're planning on doing with the slump, etc. Also, if you ever feel like I'm absent at all here, I'm probably still posting on TikTok because TikTok is very easy. So follow me on TikTok. Follow me all the places. Come hang out with me. But thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys soon. Bye.